Hello out there. If you're here, please let me know in the chat if you can hear me. Okay, great. You can hear me. I think this is a little bit better now. Okay, I was having a bit of technical problems. Thank you all for stopping by. Thank you. Welcome to this late for me stream. But there was a lot going on today in Foodie Beauty's world, and I figure we should talk about it a little bit. I hope you're all well, whether it's evening for you or daytime. Welcome, welcome. I am glad you are here. So I don't know, you probably all heard Salah showed up in chat, and then just a couple of hours ago, Foodie issued an apology message, not just to him, but to his family as well. It has been chaotic, and clearly, regardless of everything that she has said, she does want to get back to him. So much so that her apology video features texts between the two of them. Now, there's a couple of things that I wanted to touch upon, like before Foodie even issued her apology video, and even before Salah dropped his thing in the chat. Green Gelatin, you think those texts were fake? The ones between her and her husband? We can take a look at them. We can take a look at her entire apology video because, like, there are points in those conversations where he is avoiding saying certain things, but she's just like carrying on as if like nothing's wrong. And there was one point where I think he's poking fun at her and like it completely goes over her head. Completely. But like what it demonstrates is that once again, like she doesn't know what she wants. She doesn't know who she is. This whole thing started because she feels that he is up to something, that he's going to marry a cousin, that his family is in his ear, that they don't accept her. All of these things. How does that simply change and your perception of all of that change when you're not even talking to the guy? Like, is she trying to convince herself that she was wrong? Is she trying to convince herself that she has these thoughts because she's not on her meds and she's not taking them appropriately? There's a whole bunch there. And even if those texts between the two of them are fake, like they lack substance. They really do. Because it was barely 24 hours ago that she was accusing him of having affairs with all of his cousins. Even Noor got dragged. Noor got thrown under the bus. Noor was painted as a schemer, as having pictures of him, as being like up to something. Like everybody was getting dragged. But now all of a sudden, like you're apologizing to him and like his family after you told them that they're inbred and to go F themselves and do all of these things. Like, what's going on here? So I didn't know about the apology video. So I saw when Salah dropped the text that he dropped in her chat, which I posted on my posts tab. And then I tuned in hours later and she was extremely happy. Her mood was completely different. She was almost giddy. And I said, something happened. Something's going on here. Her attitude is completely different than it was earlier when he showed up. Because when he showed up, she went off camera. She was covering her face. She was like, oh, you have to give me a minute. She was crying, went off screen, all of that good stuff. But then when I tuned in, and I only caught the last 3 minutes of her last live, completely different mood, completely different attitude. And that's when I saw that, yep, she put out an apology video. Now, do we think that she did that on her own in order to appeal to him? Or do we think that he told her, you have to post an apology, you have to post it on YouTube? Because to me, it's very interesting that it got posted to YouTube. And then maybe I'll talk to you again. Maybe. Yes, she said she rented a car. And that it's coming, the way she phrased it was weird, that it's like coming in like a few days from now or something like that. Like, why would you randomly rent a car once again for a day? So is it because of the weather, as Spanner is suggesting, or is she renting the car because she wants to continue working on his paperwork to bring him to Canada? Like, what is it? Because, like, I'm of both opinions, that she's either using it to experience different weather, or she uses the car when she's driving to, like, offices because she needs to do paperwork on his behalf in order to sponsor him. Very interesting what she's doing. Either way, she's up to something. I just find like renting a car for a day here and there is like very weird. Hey, the Fiend. Welcome. So she's definitely up to something. She's done a complete turnaround with her mood. But what was also interesting, now that I know the pieces of what happened after he showed up, is that she decided to celebrate her video, putting out her video, and their potential reconciliation with going downtown and eating a beaver tail in public, making a bit of a mess, not as much of a mess as last time, but like, I guess that's how she decided to celebrate the potential reconciliation. And she was definitely like showing different angles of herself when she did that. I was like, does she have her phone on the ground? Like, she was giving us a different view so we can watch her consume from like a different angle. Does Salah actually want to go to Canada though? So according to Foodie, and in the midst of this entire fight, she said that he does not, that she doesn't feel that he does. One of the things that kind of escalated the fight via text message was when she asked him, oh, so we're going to go to Malaysia and then you're going to come back to Canada with me, or something along those lines, him visiting Canada, coming to Canada. And he said, his reply was something along the lines of, oh, inshallah. And then she asked him again, well, do you want to? And he said, let's just make it, I think he said something about like world events and let's just make it to Malaysia first in one piece or something like that. So he wasn't giving her a definitive answer. And I think that what Foodie was looking for was a definitive answer. So, I mean, the guy is building a fountain in Syria. Does he want to go to Canada? And I mentioned in either a previous video, or I think maybe it was the last live, if he comes to Canada, he doesn't have any other social supports. He just has Foodie. He's going to be stuck in that apartment or any apartment with her. He won't have family. He won't have friends. He won't have access to others. Ideal for her because that's what she wants. That's exactly what she's been complaining about, right? All these rants about his family is like that they were spending too much time with others, that he wanted to spend the night at the cousin's house. He wanted to spend the night at Noor's family's house or whatever, and that she did not want to. She wanted to be by herself with him. So if he comes to Canada, she gets exactly what she wants. She gets him here, able to have him locked up, just him and her. She gets to redo like a better version of Kuwait, because even in Kuwait, yes, his family wasn't approving of the whole situation, but like he was spending time with them here and there. Maybe the one sister wasn't talking to him, but the rest of them kind of were. They were willing to interact with him as long as she wasn't there. So by him coming to Canada, she gets exactly what she wants. Him and her and nobody else. So does he want that? Is that what he really wants? I don't know. Hey, spectator, welcome. Spanner, you feel like it was a reconciliation? If it was a reconciliation, we'd be in a health arc and getting gym footage. Hey, BB Truth. Yeah, instead she opted to do like the beaver tail. And yeah, it is a moneymaker for her, the beaver tail. It's like she went right to that. Right to that. Went from having like no energy whatsoever, sobbing, to like getting on the train and going downtown to make beaver tail footage. It feels like someone sent a cameo and the dishwasher is available. Salah's conditions would be stamina yeah, right? Yeah, I would think so too. I don't know, or is it just wishful thinking on her part? Like she created the video and is hopeful that it will work. She's a flip-flopper because she has no sense of self. She has no core at all. She doesn't know who she is, what she wants at all. Like, it really is shocking, the extremes and the inconsistencies of her personalities. Super curious about why Salah is hell-bent on Malaysia. She said he talked her back into it. I think that's one of the few places that his passport allows him to go, or to go more easily without much paperwork. I think individuals had looked it up and it was Thailand, Malaysia, I believe Indonesia, and maybe one or two other places. So it's like easiest, I think. It's easier for them to do that. Now, the other thing that I found interesting was all of a sudden she's all concerned about Julia, all of a sudden. When he dropped in and made the comment, and we'll discuss what was shady about his comment, but he said about like Julia, he cut her nails and everything like that. She got annoyed. She got sad. She got angry at him for even saying that. Right? And then she went into this, I just want to know Julia's okay because I miss her so much. You abandoned Julia. You abandoned Julia in Kuwait. And if it was not for him, there would be no Julia. But all of a sudden you miss her and you care. You got up and you left Syria and left Julia behind. You've abandoned Julia 2 times. But all of a sudden you care. Hi, only me, Kimberly. Welcome, welcome. So I've wanted to make a video about Julia for some time because there were some things that I noticed in the things that Foodie wasn't saying. And I held off on it and other things happened and then I wasn't making videos for a couple of weeks there. But there were certain things about Julia. And given what she said about Julia just the other day, that supposedly came from Salah. I'm gonna cover that. So she said that she's concerned about Julia, and that every time that she breaks up with Salah, he says, well, what about Julia? And she's worried because Julia has been pooping on the floor from time to time, and Salah's father was getting upset by that, right? Okay, let's think back. We're going to go to Kuwait. We're going to think back to Kuwait. Julia started having bathroom issues in Kuwait. Now, bathroom issues are usually of two varieties. They're either a medical problem or they're a behavioral problem, right? We know Julia and what happened with her spay and all of that. We also know, or I'm of the opinion, that Foodie wasn't properly cleaning Julia's litter box. I have this sense that responsibility probably fell onto Salah. He seemed to be Julia's primary caretaker. And we also know that Julia favored Salah. So I think a lot of Julia's care fell onto Salah. And those periods of time when Salah was missing, wasn't there, gone for long periods of time with wherever he was, she really probably wasn't doing much as far as the upkeep of the litter box. Then we get to Syria. You remember when she first got to Syria, what she said? They were getting sand from the beach for the litter box. This was when they were in that first, before they moved to Salah's house, they were living in that other location. They were getting sand from the beach, and that's what they were using for Julia. Number one, she probably didn't like it. Number two, that doesn't work. Okay, but just something to keep in mind, that's what they were doing. Either because litter wasn't available, too far out, whatever the case may be. Maybe they thought it was the same thing. I don't know. When Foodie was getting ready to leave Syria, and after she returned to Canada, she brought up Julia a number of times. And she would bring up Julia when people were like, are you sending him money for Julia? Are you doing, whatever? Okay. But let's think when she was still in Syria right before she left. She was telling Salah, or actually, let's go back even further. Remember when he went with his family on that trip, when she flipped out, made the accusations that they were going to offer. You remember that weekend? Julia pooped on her bed. If you recall, Foodie didn't know how to open the doors, right? She didn't know how to open the door, didn't know how to open the gate. She was essentially locked in the house for those 3 days that Salah was gone. When Foodie was about to leave, she was telling Salah how to care for Julia. And if you remember, and she's taken down all her videos, so I can't pull them up, but I do remember. Salah was responding to her, I think, with like a computerized voice or some type of like digital voice. And he was saying like, yes, and I will play with her and her feather toy. And Foodie was like, yeah, and you have to let her outside during the day and everything like that, right? Why would she have to tell him to let her outside during the day? Is it because in Salah's house, they didn't have a litter box in the house, and Julia was going to the litter box outside in the yard? Therefore, when Foodie was locked in the house those 3 days with Julia, Julia went on the bed. She couldn't get outside. She probably hadn't been outside those 3 days, so she went on the bed. Also, because she was giving Foodie a message, that's what happened. But then when Foodie came to Canada, whenever she would bring up Julia, she would say, oh yeah, Julia's not expensive to, I don't send him money. She's not expensive. She doesn't need many things. She just needs her, her nails cut from time to time and her food. And like, that's pretty much it. And every time she would bring Julia up in the context of her needs, she never mentioned litter. Remember, I've told you guys with Foodie, it's not just what she says, but what she doesn't say. She never brought up Julia needing litter. Why wouldn't you tally that up in Julia's expenses? You would only omit that if you're not using it. That kind of makes sense to me. Again, because of what she would not say. So now if Julia is going in the home, is it again because she doesn't have the litter box in the house? She has to go outside, and for whatever reason, she either doesn't make it, she doesn't have access, whatever the case may be. I think that's where the whole Julia situation is going on. It's not so much that there's like an issue with her litter box. Maybe it's a behavioral issue to some extent, but I think, at least as far as Syria is concerned, I think Julia goes outside. We know that she would go outside and like play with the olives and do whatever Julia was doing with the leaves and all of that stuff. But that's what I think is going on with Julia. Spanner, there's absolutely no upside to him to stay. She's essentially immobile. Yeah. Yep, even if she's paying him at some point, it's not worth it. Yeah, totally. So it's interesting regarding Julia and just like how she's trying to say that like the dad is getting upset and that's why she wants to go to Syria and stay in a hotel and bring her over. But then she decided, oh, well, I'll just go to Morocco instead. That's how much she cares, that she decided on Morocco instead of her cat. Okay. What she was doing with Julia, the thing she was omitting, is similar to the way she was constantly bringing up when asked about Sasa, that, that money went to her. She got all of these outfits, and outfits was the consistent thing that she would mention, meaning that that's what they ended up doing with the money, getting Sasa outfits. With Julia, it's the opposite. It's the thing she doesn't mention. That's like the important piece. Just like today, she made a point of like talking about, giving a $20 tip. We know she didn't give anybody a $20 tip. But again, it's like she's bringing it up with such frequency because she's been called out on it so many times that like she's highlighting it specifically. You think he's having second thoughts whether he should be with her alone and can't? Yeah, I think so too. Because he knows. Like, it'll just be him and her, and I don't know. I don't think he'd be able to tolerate it. He wouldn't have places to escape to. He wouldn't have his family to escape to as he did in Kuwait. We come to find out also, she admitted yesterday that not only has she thrown phones at him, she's thrown water bottles at him. And in her apology video, she also says that she's been verbally and physically abusive towards him. Why would he want to come? Why would he want to go to Canada? To have more bottles thrown at him? And what's also interesting about the fact that she would throw water bottles at him is the fact that the thing that he outed her about when they had that fight in Kuwait, right before the Bruce thing went down, he outed her having water bottles all over the apartment. Now we come to find out that they were weapons. They were weaponized against him. So not only is she a slob, but she was like uses her like garbage, her water bottle pile, like as a weapon of attack against him. Exactly. A truly charitable person doesn't tell people how much they give all day. Yeah. You only do that because you're trying to highlight it, because you're trying to change or influence people's perceptions of you. And that is exactly what she's trying to do. She's trying to influence the way people perceive her. Because the tip thing has been coming up very frequently. I feel that it comes up like every 2 weeks. She starts making an issue about it. Because she also said today, like, oh, can you imagine somebody bringing all these water bottles? Again with the water bottles. Somebody bringing you cases of water bottles and all they got as a tip was like $4.50. Why would you come up with that specific figure? Why would you come up with that figure unless that's what you gave? Only to then later say, oh, and I gave them $20. No, you didn't. You're lying. You didn't. You want people to think that you did. If you even gave them the $4.50, they were lucky, because even that is doubtful. Even $50 is a lot in Syria. Yeah, it is, for sure. Yeah, it goes a long way. In many parts of the world, it can go a long way. Yes, the fiend. Yes, she is. And she admitted in her apology video that she's verbally and physically abusive. Yep. Yes. I think didn't she throw a chair at Pete's because he said that it was a classic actress. Was it Grace Kelly, I think? That Grace Kelly, like he found her beautiful and she got angry and threw a chair. I think so too. And I worry about BG when she gets angry because we see how she gets angry at BG. Yeah, she finds I mean, I don't know. Clearly, I mean, look, she doesn't like herself. She doesn't. Otherwise, she wouldn't do the things to herself that she does. And I don't mean the men, I just mean like the way she treats herself. Right? There's no self love there at all. Regardless of what she says, how to paint, how she paints it and all of that, she doesn't love herself. You wouldn't consume things against like your better interests if you did. You would make even a tiny effort to help yourself, even occasionally. She doesn't. She doubles down. Yeah, I'm worried about Julie and BG. Yes, me too. Absolutely. Well, what's interesting is BG has started to like, I wouldn't call it bite, but like kind of bite, like gnaw or nibble at her hands. Like, why is BG suddenly doing that biting thing? It's not vicious, it's not hostile, but the fact that it's even happening raises questions. BG was clearly hungry the other night when we were live. When she returned home from her movie, BG was hungry. She didn't feed her. She ate. She didn't feed BG. She decided to go to bed, got up the next morning and had the audacity to complain that BG woke her up at 6 o'clock. And that she was annoyed and that BG was throwing things and like jumping on her. Yeah, because she's hungry. She's waking you up so that you could give her breakfast. And she says that when she eventually got up, she gave her a treat. She needs food. She doesn't need treats. She needs foods. Hey, Peaked. We haven't been there too long, so you'll catch up very quickly. Mm-mm. Hey, Toasty Teardrop. I think Teardrop was saying some stuff about her abusing her husband, like throwing ice on him or something like that. Like, what is going on? Like, that's a true beezer, I guess. The whole birds of a feather and all of that. Like, and almost like they were proud of it too. Teardrop and the rest who like were speaking about similar things. Like, why? I really don't know. Hey, Mandrews, was she eating carrots? You mean today? I don't know. There's a chunk that I missed. Like, I missed what happened after Salah dropped his message. And then I saw like the very last couple of minutes of like one of her lives. And then I saw the apology video. So there's a couple of things in between. Oh, BG eats carrots. Oh. She doesn't feed her. She doesn't feed her properly. Like I've said, like I'm glad that she does have the dry food. She showed it to us. It's a good food, great. But like, obviously BG was hungry the other night. The way she was meowing and the way she was behaving, those were indicators of hunger. And every time that she's going to the sink, I think she's thirsty. Oh, because Foodie made the other comment. Oh, I gave her a treat and I filled her water dish. Was it empty? Was her dish empty? Like her water dish empty? Maybe that's why she was like throwing your stuff around because like she was thirsty and hungry. Yeah. I think BG is hungry. I've said that for like a while now. Exactly. She needs nutrients in wet food. That's what I've been saying as well. And Foodie likes to tell us that like BG doesn't eat wet food. We've only that she's tried to give it to her. No, you gave her the yellow can from Dollarama, and I keep bringing that up because I did see that. We haven't seen her offer her anything else. She hasn't offered her any other wet food as far as we can see. And given the amount of time that she streams all day and all night, we would have seen another can. We rarely see her feed her at all. I think she just puts dry food in her bowl, and if BG eats it, great. And if she doesn't, whatever. And that's it. Yeah, I do too. I do too. No, she can't keep it clean, and it's important to like wash it out because it can get mold. Yeah, crunchy's on the floor, and that's it. And she considers that feeding. That's not like a nutritionally full meal, especially for a kitten. No. Oh, she admitted that it's dirty and she needs to clean it, but hasn't. Yeah, what does she do all day? Yeah, that's why she keeps going to the sink. She's looking for water, is what it is. And she probably doesn't wash out her water bowl or like lets it go empty for quite a while. Yes, it's right across the street. Yes, the pet store is right across the street. Yeah, or she could just go and just like get a variety of cans and see which one she eats. It doesn't have to be like the number one, like high quality food. Doesn't. Just give her one of like, give her a fancy feast. She'll probably like at least one of those flavors. I'd put money on it. But she doesn't. Because I don't think she was feeding her other cats in the past. I don't think she was feeding them wet food either. There were times they didn't have food. It's that dry food that she likes to sprinkle or put down, and that's it. Yeah, anything that requires effort, but hey, she put in effort in that apology video. She took time to do that because that's high priority for her, nothing else. One thing Foodie does is like she shows us what her priorities are. Always. Always. And making that video was a priority. Second priority today was going to eat the beaver tail. Yeah, you have to scrub. Yeah, it can get, because some of them have like the plastic bit on the inside and it can get like gunky, and that's not good. So, yeah, cleaning it requires effort. She's too busy. I've never seen a person so busy with nothing to do at all. She got off her stream and she was going to go watch a movie. Like, why don't you get up and like wash the fountain, you know? I don't know. I don't know. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, she told us a few weeks ago, all I want to do is eat and seal. That's it. Yes, she did. That is expensive dry Royal Canin, and it was age appropriate for her, and that's good. It's good. Look, if you've been here a while, we're very fair here, right? That's good. It's good that she did that. However, she hasn't done much more beyond that. Like, try out a variety of wet foods, not just one, and see if she likes it. I'm sure she's going to like one. All that money she spends on junk, she could have put that towards like wet food to see which one she likes. I don't think that one is prescription food. That's the Royal Canin that is the non-prescription. There's both. There's two different versions. I could be wrong, but I don't think it's a prescription. I doubt she would get BG a prescription. I doubt she's ever going to see the vet again to get a prescription or even care. Yeah, it gets slimy on the inside. Exactly. Yep. Easier and cheaper. Exactly. Yep. And you know what was interesting? Let's take a look at Salah's shady post because there were a couple of levels of shade, in my opinion. Hi, lamp lover. All right, let me see. Let me see if I can pull this up. Oh no. Give me one sec, guys. Oh yeah, rule number 1 and rule number 2. Yeah. I mean, even if they are reconciling right now, like it's just a matter of time before we go through this cycle again, for sure. Foodie putting trash under her feet, not in the trash can. Yeah, so somebody today in her chat, I think it was Strawberries and Cream, was saying that like she's starting to become a hoarder again and that they need to clean the apartment again. And it's like, that didn't take long now, did it? Didn't take long at all. You think the divorce and departure can be a farce too? Her anger at his behavior at the end was real. She's very angry at his behavior. She's very fixated on the cousins, him marrying a cousin. She's very convinced. So while I try to figure this out, let's talk about Noor for a second, because she's been accusing Noor of some stuff. Number one, she's accused Noor, the lady who tried to teach her how to cook all of those times. So she accused Noor of having a picture of Salah on her phone, a selfie where Salah looks good, supposedly. And this bothered her. She thinks that Noor has the hots for Salah. Noor, who's a married woman with like several children, she thinks that she has the hots for Salah. Now, Noor supposedly said that like she had the picture to show it to another friend of theirs. And Noor also said that she got the photo of Salah from Foodie's own page because Foodie had posted it. But it's like, you're accusing Noor, his cousin, of having the hots for him? Like, why? What are you doing? And then, of course, she accused, like, the 17-year-old cousin of having the hots for him as well and, like, whispering to him when they were all in the car, whatever. But, like, Noor's been accused of not only having the hots for him, but also being, like, the mastermind behind the divorce papers. She thinks that Noor was the one who wrote up the divorce papers. And meanwhile, the 17-year-old cousin was a witness when Foodie signed them. So Foodie has it out for both of them. She thinks they both want her man. Yeah, they're cousins. Like, why is she confused or convinced that like her, I don't know. I think that's very weird. Like his cousin has a picture of him, so what? I, is it projection? The other interesting thing she said, putting Noor aside for a second, she was most angry because she thinks Noor was showing pictures to eligible women. So I would be inclined to believe that. Like, I would not be surprised if that part was, you know, it was true. I could see that. Her sending it to like other women. Yeah. Like, hey, look at my cousin. He's looking for a wife or something like that. That I could see, but I highly doubt that like Noor's the one who like wants to get with him. Like, what are you talking about? Yep, she's been taking lots of digs at Noor. Again, Noor, the lady who like was in many of her videos, at least her hands were, teaching her how to make several Syrian dishes. Remember, she was filming at Noor's kitchen. Yeah, she really does. She's hypersensitive, hyper suspicious. Or is she thinking like what she would do? And I don't know. I don't know. The other interesting thing is that she brought up, yeah, she thinks everybody wants him, the handsomest man. Yeah. All the tree ladies want him. All the cousins want him. Noor wants him. Everybody wants him. All the reactors, too. Everybody. Everybody wants him. So then she thinks that like that's what he's off doing, like getting with his cousins. And like, I don't know. I don't mean to laugh, but just like, I don't know. The whole thing is just like so ridiculous. So ridiculous. The tree ladies, yes. Yes. The tree ladies. She better watch out because, she keeps saying like, oh, no other woman would do these things that I do for him. You mean throw water bottles at him? Throw phones on his head? What do you mean? Like, what are you referring to? No other woman would do what? Because probably no other woman would throw bottles at him. Yeah, so everybody wants him. So she's always like feeling a certain way. I don't know. I really doubt like any of that is true. I would believe that Noor is showing his photo to like maybe potential eligible women because they do want him to find somebody who's like a lot more suitable. Her man purse assault story changed. So I've always said in prior videos, I'm like, she just wants like him to not associate with his family, and to just like run all of her errands, come home and throw a bag of food at her. I've said that back so many times. So when she first said that, I'm like, he threw a bag at her, like a bag of food at her? Is that like what she's talking about? No, it's a purse. Yeah, I mean, I'm not surprised if it's changed 3 times. I'm not surprised if it's going to change like 3 more times. And I wouldn't be surprised if it was a bag of food. I mean, she knows exactly what she's saying because you saw how smug she was when she said that, like, oh, he hit me. He hit me. There you go. Like, she was very smug when she was saying that, like, huh, I got you. I got you. Now everybody's going to think horribly of you. Yeah, that's what she's doing. She knows what she's doing. Like, she doesn't do much, but when she wants to be crafty, she can be. Very much so. Yeah, so speaking of that, like being a victim, interestingly, she mentioned today that she went on Instagram to see who's following her. And wouldn't you know it? Wouldn't you know it? The swordfish is following her. And so is Roman L. Roman. But the swordfish is following her. And she decided to see who's following the swordfish. And she found that a lot of beezers are following the swordfish on Instagram. Why are you investing time and energy? Number one, why isn't he blocked? Let's start there. Why is he not blocked? You would think the swordfish would be blocked, but she keeps those channels open because she likes drama. She likes the excitement of it all, whether it's swordfish, Salah, whoever, any of these men. So that's number one. But number two, why are you investing so much energy to see who he's following and who's following him back? That is very concerning behavior. Very concerning behavior. Does he care about what people on the internet think of him? He's in a rural town in Syria. I don't think he does. I think it's probably a matter of principle. Maybe he does a little bit. Like, I think he doesn't want to be dragged. I think more so his family. He's told her many times not to bring up his family, even when they were fighting in Syria, when he went on that family trip. It once again boiled down to like the family and her keeping his family out of her mouth. I think that's more of like the concern for him. I don't think he fully cares what people think of him. Maybe a little bit. She rented a car again. Yes, we don't know. We don't know where she's going. All right, here we go. I finally got it up. So let's take a look at this message from good old Salah today that he dropped in the chat. All right, so somebody said it's National Cat Lady Day or something up there. And then Beezer Bell is saying that she's glad that the delivery person's going to bring Foodie her stuff. You know, the delivery person who's not going to get the tip. And here comes Salah. So he says, let's take a look at this though. He's a member for 29 months still. He's in the Loyalty Beezer Club. And he says, for people who commented on my channel and asked to fund me for Julia, it's okay, no need, I handle it. She is happy, I just got her nail cut and supplies. Simple enough. However, it is multi-layered. Number one, he's saying that he is taking care of Julia, which is in contrast to Foodie having abandoned Julia. He's also saying that he is financially capable and doesn't need donations and doesn't need to grift in order to take care of Julia, that he has everything covered. He also tells us that Julia's happy. He also mentions the nail cutting. Now, we know the nail cutting is a big, thing and a big source of like drama, right, from the past. So the fact that he highlights that I just got her nail cut and supplies is a major dig at Foodie. He's saying that number one, he's responsible. Number two, he has the finances. Number three, Julia is happy. She gets her nails trimmed, something that Foodie has never even done for BG. We've never seen her trim her nails, right? And that she has supplies. And he's also kind of saying like an F you to Foodie if you think you're getting Julia back. Julia's happy, she's healthy, she's being taken care of. So he did a multi-layered dig there. That's why I said like the shade. The shade. Because she's like, oh, I'm concerned about Julia, oh, this and that. Here he comes with this message, like she's got nothing to say. Even though she said it afterwards. She's like, oh, you go, bro, or something to that effect. Good for you, bro. And then like started crying and everything. But he's also saying that people have been reaching out to him to make donations for Julia, and you know that's burning her. She does not. The thing that angered her the most and made her rage out on him the most during that whole thing was when she found out that he had communicated with the reactor. She was going in on him hard. She went harder when she found out that he'd been communicating with the reactor because she considers all reactors her enemy. So that's what like tipped her over the edge at that point. So he like in this message, he's also kind of highlighting that for people who commented on my channel and asked to fund me versus people who are not commenting on her channel and trying to fund, you know, like he's setting it up there. Like people are reaching out to me, trying to give me money. That's not happening to you. I cut my cat's nails. You don't. My cat is happy. Yours isn't. Like, she's got supplies, like all, he knows what he's doing with this. So it really is so shady. Kind of say good for him. This was kind of well done on his part, I must say. Like, they weren't in communication. He decided to just come in, drop this one thing, and then exit again. Good for him. Yeah, so intentional. Yeah, he's also doing that. I think so too. Like, don't grift on behalf of Julia. She's taken care of. I don't need to grift for Julia. He's also setting it up as a contrast in a way. Maybe. I don't know if he's that slick though. Compare it to the Bruce thing and that whole grift for everything. Here he's saying, Julia doesn't need anything. I don't need to grift. She's taken care of. She's happy. Hi there. Like, this was very, like, well, I guess it was like one sentence, but like, he's saying a lot in this sentence. And then here comes strawberries right after that, which with like, just to like reinforce the shade. Thanks for getting her nails cut, Salah. Pretty good on strawberries part too. So multiple layers of shade on this. No hello, no nothing. Just a message to the Beezers about a cat that is taken care of. Saying that he's got everything handled, in stark contrast to Foodie and her grifting for every single pet that's been under her care for every single thing. In Syria, he's managing these things. Foodie couldn't manage BG spay, and it became this whole drawn out thing in Canada. Even though she tells us that she's doing okay with money, and we've watched her spend so much money on junk. Yeah, I think Strawberries is a troll too. Has to be. Strawberries is also the one who brought to her attention that he was talking to the content creator. It was Strawberries who brought that to her attention. Strawberries has to be a troll. Also, Strawberries is always like hysterical about things that Strawberry nobody should be hysterical about, like drama, like oh no, like there's danger lurking around every corner. I can't imagine somebody actually being like that, but who knows? Yeah, so whatever happened after he sent this message prompted the apology video. So whether that was her messaging him messaging her, I imagine it was her messaging him. Oh, was Strawberries blocked? Oh, yeah, I know Strawberries got called out like a week ago. Were they blocked too? I don't know. I think yesterday she was unblocking people. I was like, well, what happened to that like $250 unblock fee that you were asking for? Which is against terms of service, probably on every single platform, but what happened to that? So, yeah, a simple statement by Mr. Salah Al Rafai, but a lot said in that. Quite a dig. I think so too, The Fiend. I think so too. Yep, and obviously he wasn't blocked. So even though Foodie was like, "Oh, we've blocked each other on everything," clearly he wasn't blocked if he was able to send this message, right? What I wish people would ask him is Julia has a proper litter box or is her litter box like going outside? Because that would explain, as I was talking about before, that would explain what is going on with Julia to some extent. So shall we watch the apology video? Strawberries isn't subscribed? Huh. Yes to the apology video. Let me pull it up. Yes, we do need to analyze it. I was like, did Chat GPT write this? Because we know the affinity for Chat GPT for everything. Essentially, just to summarize, like she says that she needs to work on herself, that she needs to get therapy, all the typical stuff. And we know she's not going to because, again, what she did right afterwards is go and have beaver tails. Ugh, where did it go? I just had it up. All right. All right. Give it 1 second because there's a lag. She should come up on the screen in just a moment. You can all see her. Let's see if this works. Give me one moment.
Hello. So this is going to be a bit of it is a serious video. It's an accountability video, it's an apology video, and it's not a video to try to convince anyone to like anyone. It's not a reconciliation video. I did write what I want to say because you know how when I try to talk, I'm all over the place. So I made some notes. I basically wrote a script, but I mean everything I say. It's just to help me with my thoughts. So here it goes. Hi. I want to preface this video by saying this is not a backtracking video, and this is not an us getting back together video. I don't blame people for thinking that though, because yes, I do this cycle where I get mad at my husband, I come online and I talk, and I'm doing this video for no other reason than to take accountability for my actions, which were basically evil towards my husband and his family. I said some very awful things, which I will not repeat here. What I said was very hurtful to people who love me. Why did I say these things? It doesn't matter because there's no excuse for doing this. So I want to sincerely apologize to my husband and his family. It has been so hard for me to be part of such a different background, past, and culture than him. And I allowed my insecurities to get to my head many times.
Notice how she emphasizes that the apology is to her husband and his family. I believe she said it at least twice, which again, like, I think what matters most to him is the fact that she keeps dragging his family, and she knows that that is a sore point for him, which is why she does it all the time. Therefore, in this apology, not only is it titled Apology to Salah and Family, but she also says to his family. She also referred to her actions as evil, which is interesting. Yes, she admitted her evilness. Exactly. Right, ChatGPT apology. Yes. Pete's told her, SM2052, Pete has told her about like the resources that AI uses because she brought it up. And then just like recently, she's like, oh, I don't know why everybody is like so upset about like AI. Like Pete's told you. But she just doesn't want to understand when it comes to her and her needs and using whatever, helps her and makes her life easier. She goes into her ignorant mode. You think Salah asked her to do this? Yeah, so I'm not sure. Either he did or she's doing this like in an effort to convince him that she's truly sorry. I would not be surprised if he asked her to apologize to his family. I could see him doing that. Because here's the thing. If she's thrown phones and bottles at him and everything, like he knows how she is. And all the things that came out of her mouth, the way she dragged him, like he's not surprised by that. But I think he draws a line when it comes to the family. I think it's a little bit different. You think she's paying the ChatGPT subscription? Yeah, not good on the romance, huh?
I felt unaccepted and unloved. But Salah has assured me many times that his family in Syria loved me and never had bad intentions towards us. I know the insecurities in our relationship come from past events also.
All right, so we're going to read these messages. So I'm going to pause here so we can take a look at them because she's showing us the text messages. Now, do we think they're real? Are they doctored? Let's see. So I was judged by your family from day one, and I always feel not good enough for you. And he says, there is no comment about this stupid rumor you created by yourself. They loved you here and always were kind to you, and you know that very well. They were kind to her. That they were. Like, I think they tried to include her. I'm just sitting here trying to think, like, is this the way he writes? I don't know. And then she says, anyway, I understand, and I am so sorry to hurt you and your family. I really didn't mean those bad words. I am evil sometimes. She meant everything she said. She meant every single word that she said. Looks like WhatsApp and real. Yeah, it definitely looks like WhatsApp. It doesn't sound like Salah. I don't know, the U's and the UR as opposed to the whole word. That's the part that's like a little, I have to like go see some of his other messages. I don't remember, quite honestly. But she's so sorry to hurt him and his family. She didn't mean those bad words. She meant everything she said. She said she was done with him. She dragged all of them. She called him inbred. She called them all inbred. Told them all to go F themselves. Yeah, they were kind, but she thought they were annoying. I was thinking earlier, and maybe this is like more of a different conversation for another day, but just like, Foodie has no discernment with the way people interact with her, whether that's like sleazy, disgusting, like men that she pursues, or Salah's family or anything. She can't discern what is genuine, and she can't discern what isn't. She thinks that anybody gives her attention, like if it's a guy, she thinks any attention means that they like her, they're interested in her, they want to get with her. And that they genuinely like her, not that they want to use her, be a one and done, none of that. Like, she can't tell the difference. And also, like, with Salah's family, I feel like she can't tell the difference. They're being nice to her and kind to her, but yes, she has all of these like suspicions about what they really mean, what they're really saying. Meanwhile, she has no clue because she doesn't know the language. Someone whose second language is English, written can be better than spoken because they have more time to yeah, for sure. Yeah, I think she meant those words too. She meant everything she said. Right. Yes, she wants a husband who's going to cater to her and meet all of her needs and do her errands. Let's continue because she's going to show us more.
Come from past events also, which I will not mention, only because I want to move on and heal from all this and leave the past in the past, which I always fail to do. I feel it is so wrong to come online and talk so awful about someone you supposedly love and to betray privacy between a couple. I wish I have never done this, but I cannot take it back. It's also really hard being a public figure and living your life online. There's not much privacy there. I can only move forward now.
She says that it's also hard being a public figure and living your life online and that there is no privacy there. That's a choice. That is her choice. She's the one who chooses to live stream 12 or so hours a day. She does not have to put every aspect of her life online. Just the other day when she disappeared for a full day and didn't come on until like 11 p.m. or so, she said, why? I do other things. I have a life outside of YouTube. I don't need to put everything about me online. My, that's in stark contrast to what she just said. Being a public figure is difficult when you have your whole life online. So which is it? Is it that we don't know everything you do and you have this whole other side? Or is it you're always online, therefore your entire relationship with Salah is playing out in real time? You can't have it both ways. You just can't. So that is very contradictory of her and not well thought out, obviously. She's just trying to insert that as an excuse that being that I'm public, everything's going to play out. No, it's not, because you just told us the other day that it's not. She also told us the other day, well, maybe what I do, maybe what you see is a persona. Did you ever think that all of these things, I'm just doing them for online? Trying to imply that maybe she's not as crass or not as vile as, as we all think. But then again, what is it? Are you a persona, or is your entire life on display? Therefore, these things are bound to happen. Your rages are bound to happen because everything, is online. Can't have it both ways. She sees the family as enemies. Yes. Potentially new wife. Yes, for sure. And I think she's toyed around with the idea of the whole second wife thing for months now. Support for Salah. Yes, they see her for who she is and what's going on here, and they don't like it. Yeah, it's. I think if she was like decent and not vile and not crass and social with them, they wouldn't care if she was Western or they wouldn't. They would support her and accept her. It's her behavior. They see what she's doing. They see the way she isolates him. They've seen the rages, all of that stuff. Wants to be left alone with Salah 100%, absolutely. Hates people and his family's always there. Yeah. She hates people because she knows how she is potentially being perceived in public, whether that's accurate or not. Oh yeah, he could be speaking to text message. Sure, maybe. Like he talks, yeah. She's going to do it again in a few weeks. Absolutely. He's not going to respond to her. Oh, wait until we get to the next set of text messages. Yep. Eid, he's not responding. All of that. Yeah, that's the question I have too. It's like the letter U in place of, like, is that him? Is that something we've seen him do? I can't remember, honestly. If he's done it in the past, then yeah, it would be him. But I think like the next set of messages we're about to see in this apology are closer to what we're familiar with as far as like Salah's writing. Let's continue. And sorry, there's a bit of a lag when I turn the video on and off.
I overreacted this time. I promised to not bring up past mistakes of his over and over because it would ruin the relationship going forward. I know many think I should have ended things back then, but I didn't want to. I wanted to give it a go, give it a chance. He has changed a lot since, and I am only showing you some personal messages here.
Okay, so let's take a look at this set of messages. What did you eat, hun? Oh, she likes to be called hun. Oh no, she doesn't like to be called hun. She likes to be called love. So why was this okay? She didn't blow up at him here. But this whole fight was sort of prompted by the fact that he called her hun and she wants to be called love. But here she let it go, I guess. Okay. I made chicken soup here. I will make some pasta here later. You will sleep? So once again, and we noticed this in the conversation that prompted their argument, he's asking her what she ate. in the conversation, which prompted her whole blow up in her rage, she never answered him. Here, she answers him, but she lies. So he goes, yeah, I was watching movie Red Blood Sky while charging my mobile, by the way. That's why I was late. Now, I don't know if that's a dig because of the whole thing of him not having his charger during Eid, allegedly, and that's why he wasn't able to text her. Is he making a joke? Is he being serious about the charger and the mobile and all of that stuff? Who's to know? But for somebody who allegedly has all of these chargers laying around, it seemed like charging his phone is always an issue somehow. I don't know. Ha ha ha. All horror movies. Oh no, she goes, LMAO. Oh, reminds me of you, this movie. I'm assuming that's her, right? She's the green? Yeah. Ha ha ha. All horror movies remind me of you. Now, I thought that was a dig. All horror movies remind me of you? Like, she's probably taking that as like, oh yeah, because we watched them together. Oh, it's so romantic. Like, just yesterday she was crying, right? About like she went to the movie and oh, it reminds her of Salah, and she started crying on the train. Here, he's saying all horror movies remind me of you. Is it like because like her and being a horror show, like the behavior and all of that? Or does he mean like, oh, because we watched them together? Could be a dig. I don't know. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. SM 2025. Hey, Bella Italian. Like, yeah, she always does that. She always messes up like the messages. But I don't think these are the ones that led to the fight. I think this is like a different set. Because here she says on the side, we have couple rituals. We talk about them for comfort and something to look forward to when we meet up. Like where? What, the movie? Like what? I don't understand. Him asking you about what food you ate? No, he's trying to keep you accountable because he wants to make sure that you're not eating junk. The movies? That's the couple ritual to look forward to when you meet up? Like, I don't know. But yeah, if he's saying like, oh, all horror movies remind me of you, with the you again, not the YOU. If he's saying that, like, is he saying that like living with her is a horror movie? Being in a relationship with her is a horror movie? Is that what he's really trying to say? I don't know. Same. We will watch many, inshallah. Evil Dead Rise. Ha ha ha. All right. Let's continue. Let's listen to the rest of the apology. All right, now let's take a look at these. On the side, she comments to us, the viewers, Salah always saw seeing the same numbers, 10, 10, etc., as a sign that we are soulmates, and I always thought that was so sweet. He always messaged me every morning, calling me sweet things. So here he is saying that he just woke up. I guess that's a picture, something, hearts over there. Good morning, my cheesecake. Yeah, I don't know. It looks like a guy who's like folded in half. I really don't. I can't tell. But he refers to her as cheesecake, and he's laughing and says 1010, which she explained. And hi, love. And he says, how you doing? How you doey? And she's laughing, and she's telling him about the weather, that it's a rainy day. How's your day, bae? OMG, I'm craving maklube. So immediately she jumps to the food to tell him about the food. Yeah, they do sound like they're 13, right? They are so childish. That whole fight, the blow up, it was like just everything so childish. It really does. But you know what it is? I think like I think I had said it in a prior video. I think that like to her, relationships are like what she has seen in movies, in after school specials growing up, in Sweet Valley High books, if anybody's familiar with those. Like, I think that's how she interprets things. And she interprets relationships to move as quickly as they do in those shows or in a movie, and that people speak to each other the way they do in those shows and in those movies. I'm jealous. Yes, I'm jealous. Where's my man? I'm jealous. I don't know. Oh gosh, a guy folded in half. It looks like that. Yeah. Cheesecake. Yeah, we got it all here. We have it all. Yes, she's missing the bread. Like where's the I don't know, conversations of substance are lacking. But let's see. Let's continue. Oh my gosh, I was talking this entire time. Okay, sorry about that. I was muted. All right, so let me start from the top. I was saying initially that these are not consecutive messages because not only is the time different on them, but the apps at the top are also different. In the last one, she had TikTok up next to the time. Here she has Walmart, probably an order that she made, and I'm not sure what those other two are. I'm not sure. But she's got other stuff here. So she says, I was always picking fights and getting mad. He didn't understand my weird moods. I don't know what's wrong with me. I love you. I don't want to lose you. He says, it's weird. Every time, different personalities. I know. I get paranoid when you didn't message me. LOL. I can't understand anything. I'm very jealous. I do trust you. It's because it's so hard being away from each other. I don't feel part of your life. I get sad. Now, remember earlier, I said that there's a part where he kind of left her hanging and didn't really get into or address what she was talking about. That part is right here. She just said all of that, you know, she's very jealous, but she trusts him. It's very hard for her being away from him and that she doesn't feel part of his life and she gets sad. And look what he says. You showed your neck, your chest, your full hand, your hair all the time. So he's not going to reassure her. He's not going to, you know, say anything to what she said. But he's going to point out the fact that she's being inappropriate with her appearance when she's streaming. She's acting like she doesn't know. No. Oh my God, I need clothes. Why? Why do you need clothes? You don't fit into your clothes anymore? She also made a comment about needing clothes when she was talking about Malaysia, how he paid the tickets, but she was going to pay for part of the hotel and she was going to pay for activities and she was going to pay for her own clothes. And I thought that last part was very odd. Well, yeah, why wouldn't you pay for your own clothes? Like, I don't know. I don't know what that meant. So it's just interesting that she said that. And here she's saying, oh my God, I need clothes. Very odd. What was in the green stuff that she smoked? Anybody's guess. Anybody's guess. She doesn't like people calling her cutie outside of her family? Huh. I would think she would love it. That she would view it as, you know, positive, a compliment. She has had cognitive decline. Yes. Yes, and that became noticeable when she was in Kuwait. There was physical and cognitive decline there. Yeah, I mean, I don't blame him for saying different personalities. That's what we were saying, right? Like the stark difference between like her different moods. She's grifting clothes, probably. Yeah, she needs clothes. It's a surprise to her. But to me, it was just like him just not addressing that she feels sad, that she doesn't feel like she's part of his life. Like there's no reassurance there. He has no comment on any of that. Nothing at all, except you're showing your chest, your hair, you're this, you're that. She stressed that Salah paid for tickets. She always does that. She paid for everything. Yeah, she was totally making it up. Absolutely. Which is also why when she was reading the texts out loud the other day, right? They're fighting texts. She glossed over the Malaysia bits. She's like, oh yeah, and here we were talking about Malaysia. She glossed over them because what they were saying it was probably her saying, and I paid for everything to take you to Malaysia. Something along those lines. If she read them out loud, we would know. All right, let's see. What else has she got to say?
Good ones to show you what every day has been like and that not everything has been bad. We talked very lovingly with each other, and nothing was wrong except that long distance is so hard with trust issues. I'm not laying this as main blame, but I've also been failing to stay on track with my mental health medications. And when
So what's interesting here is that, well, there's a couple of things. Number one, she says, yes, it is 100% my responsibility to take my medications on time to prevent further illness. Yes, it is. But she's refusing, as we've talked about so many times before, to get herself checked out, to make sure that she's on the right medications, to make sure that they are calibrated properly for her as far as the dosages are concerned. She's not doing any of that, and is probably not taking them at all or skipping over them. Who knows what she's doing? But it's bringing up what happened in Syria, because remember, she switched her medications, or she stopped taking them, switched to the other ones, which were cheaper, more affordable, whatever the case was, and she was having all of those rages. So yeah, it's your responsibility to take your medications properly, the correct ones and the correct dosages. But once again, all of this has happened. What steps are you taking to make sure that happens? She didn't do that after Syria. After Syria, she said, oh, my medications and this and that. It's 7 months later, 6 months later, and we're repeating the exact same thing. 6 months ago, she had this very rage. 6 months ago. It was in October. Nothing has changed. Nothing has changed at all. Yeah, the constant cycle of cycles. Absolutely. She mentioned Sasa lately. Oh, she has a specific reason for mentioning Sasa, in my opinion. Yeah, she lies so much. If you watch her body language, it definitely paints a picture. Absolutely. She needs inpatient. Yes, she needs to be medicated and in therapy. It's a terrible way to live. Yes, she needs, but she's not going to do it. She's not going to take her medication. She's not going to go to the doctor. She's not going to go to therapy. All the things which could help her, right? All the things that could help her. Yeah, exactly. I'm sure the meds are just like thrown all over the place or under all of those piles or maybe on the couch. Who knows? She probably doesn't even know. Hey, Big Korean, welcome. Welcome, welcome. Yeah, probably as far as the clothes are concerned. No, I'm not muted this time. I should be okay. Can you guys hear me? Let me know. I'm not muted this time for sure. Let me know if you could hear. Yes, you can hear me? Okay, great. Great. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, no doctors, no labs, like nothing. She needs specialists in every category. She's diabetic and she went and she ate that beaver tail today, and her own beezers were talking about like her diabetes, how that was not a good idea, what she did. She's only fooling herself. Yeah. Oh, she's very resistant to therapy. And I think that goes back to whatever therapy she received when she was in group home. Whatever that experience was, she's replicated it in her mind and thinks that every therapy session will be like that. In the group home, everything was imposed on her because she was there for a reason. She wasn't seeking out help herself. This would be different. She would be finding her own therapist, somebody who's compatible with her. I know. How dare the Beezers talk about her diabetes? How dare they don't co-sign everything that she does. Yeah, she had a healthy salad. Let's see what else she has to say in her apology.
When I do that, my moods are just roller coaster in the worst way. So this time was my fault. I'm no angel, and me saying this is not excusing all his past behavior either. I want to make that clear. The truth is, I do love and care about him and his family, regardless of what I said, and I wish them all the best going forward, inshallah. I'm not well. I let anger and insecurity get the best of me always, and I never learned to control myself. I will get some help with this and continue to work on myself and my relationship with God. Salah is a good person, and he's a great cat dad. No one is perfect. I did many things to hurt him too. Including being physically and verbally abusive towards him in fights.
So there she says it. There she says that she has been physically and verbally abusive towards him in fights. Interesting how she put that in, that qualifier, in fights. Fights which she causes, fights which she escalates because she is physically and verbally abusive towards him. There was no reason for her to say in fights or not. No, she's not going to get help. Absolutely not. Hi, Yelly Me. She's not going to get help. She isn't. If she wanted to get help, she wouldn't have gone downtown to eat that beaver tail. That was a congratulations to her. I made the video. We're going to possibly reconcile. Let me celebrate. Let me treat myself. Yeah, I agree, Bella Italian, that she is like, oxygenation is probably horrible and that all of her organs are probably in horrible shape. She's not getting help. She's not. Again, we've been through this cycle before. This happened 6 months ago, and allegedly one of the reasons that she left Syria was so that she can get help in Canada. She's gotten zero help since being in Canada, following the last big blowout that they had. What's going to make her get help now? Who's going to keep her accountable to getting help? Nobody. And if the Beezers try to, or if anybody tries to, I know what I need. I know myself best. I know my triggers. I know what works. She knows. Meanwhile, she knows nothing. And if she knew anything, she wouldn't be in the state that she is in. Yeah, we can predict those cycles. Absolutely. I mean, this is just almost exactly the same thing, just about, as what happened in Syria 6 months ago. Just that it's in Canada. When she was there, they were going to off her. Now she's here, they'll hate her. They are all happy that she's here. They're not hating anybody right now. Exactly, lamp lover, in fights, implying that she was provoked to be abusive and wouldn't have done it otherwise. Absolutely, 100%. That is exactly what she is saying. Yes. I was provoked too. He got me to the point where I was physically and verbally abusive. That is DV lingo right there. I didn't mean to. I love you. I'm never going to do it again. I just got so angry. Right? Typical stuff. What you made me do, you made me so angry. Yeah. Even though she says this time it was my fault. but then says that she's been verbally and physically abusive to him in fights. Very interesting wording there, intentional wording. Nope. She hasn't done one single thing that she said she was going to do since returning to Canada. Not one single thing. Nothing. Things have only gotten worse, in my opinion. Let's see what she has to say as she wraps this up.
All of these things should be secret, and I'm only telling you them because I make it look like he is the bad guy when it's not him in this case. Sometimes it is me. Anyway, I'm not here to convince anyone of anything. I'm just here to apologize, whether that's accepted or not. What I did was wrong, and I only want to own my part. That's all. Thanks for listening, and take care.
Look at that. Regret. I am so sorry. In the thumbnail. She also said, this time it was my fault. Again, that qualifier there, meaning that he's usually the bad one, but I'll take responsibility for this one. Again, it's by choice what it is that she's saying. As far as the Sasa, why she keeps bringing up Sasa, why she's so fixated on Sasha, I think Salah has an affinity towards her. I think they're cousins, or is he cousins with the father? I forget, but that's his relative, but I think he has an affinity with that child. If she likes Sasa or pretends to, she feels that Salah will view her more positively. The other day she said a couple of things which were questionable, that once again she brought up Canada, and she told him, oh, so you're going to come to Canada? And he said something along the lines of like, yes, you and me and our 2 cats, and that supposedly he said something about adopting a child. And Foodie is telling us, she's like, yeah, and I said, yes, of course. She's like, not that I want to, but I said, sure. Why would you say that? Lines up with my Sasa theory, right? You like Sasa because Salah likes Sasa. You think he's going to view you positively. You say you want to adopt a child because he wants to adopt a child. You think that he will view you more favorably. But let's go along with that. He comes here, or to Canada rather. He comes to Canada and he wants to adopt a child. You told him that that's what you want to do also. I want to know how that plays out in Foodie's mind. How does that unfold? Hi, Orem Dubs. Like, he's here. You got what you wanted. Now he wants a child. He wants to adopt a child. How does that work for you, Foodie? You say that's not what you want. Are you going to go along with it? Just to make sure that he sticks around? Like, I'm really curious as to how the future plays out for her in that context. What would you do? Would you go and adopt a child? You told us that's not what you want. So, yeah, random conversation, sure, but maybe it was a bit more serious to him. Maybe it is what he wants. Maybe. I don't know. But like, she agreed to it regardless. Even if it's random, she agreed to it. It's something that he could bring up later. Like, hey, I'm in Canada now. Let's adopt a kid. Like, hello, what? So So I think it's the same with the Sasa thing. Like she says things because it'll appeal to him, is what it is. She's his niece. I think it's his cousin's child or something like that. I don't think it's like his siblings, one of the child of one of his siblings. I think it's one of the cousins. Or like the uncle. Yeah, I think it's his uncle's daughter, something like that. It is so sad. It's all so sad. Right, and that's the other thing. Yeah. And it's like she said something about Sasa watching reaction channels or something, as if like Sasa would know the context of like reaction channels. Or anybody would know like what? Like I don't understand. Yeah, I think Noor is like his cousin or his cousin's wife. But I think it's his cousin too. They're definitely related in some way. Like they're all family, one way or the other, but they all have the hots for him. Yeah, she's definitely sick. She doesn't want to find out how sick she is. Like, she doesn't want to have those difficult conversations with the doctors, I think, because Foodie knows there is a certain level of self consciousness there. And she feels that she will be judged, and she doesn't want to have those difficult conversations with the doctors. She doesn't want to have like confrontation with reality, confrontation with the truth. So it's easier for her to avoid it because they're going to tell her something horrible and they're going to expect her to either change her habits or take medication, right? Adding that to her repertoire would be changing a habit as well. Like she would have to do certain things. She doesn't want to do those things. So she avoids everything. She avoids all of the things that are in place to help her. The hypertension, the diabetes, the breathing, the mobility stuff, the mental health piece, like all of that. She doesn't want to have those conversations. The doctors will ask her questions. Tell me what you eat in a day. She doesn't want to tell them. The doctors will tell her, you have to cut back on fast. She doesn't want to do that. So I don't know. Yeah, she rages against them for hours. They only get a 5-minute apology, right? Yeah. Where it's like she says that it's her fault this time, but she's only like been abusive to him during fights. Yeah, only me, Kimberly. There's a lot that she has to do. But she's just so worried about just like how she's perceived and keeping Salah. It's like she needs to be worried about keeping her blood pressure down, not keeping Salah. I know there's a lot of things I have to do. Then why did you run and get beaver tails shortly after posting this video? Like she fails to see the interconnectedness of things. She also had the excuse yesterday, I believe, that, oh, well, you know, the family, but he's talked stuff about my culture and everything. Why is that okay? He hasn't done that publicly on a platform. If he had something to say about you, your behavior, or cultural stuff or whatever, we're not aware of that. So you can't equate that to what you do. If he said something to you in private, then you can say whatever you have to say to him in private. But you like the spectacle of things. Yeah, her priorities are all messed up. She lacks discernment in every single way. Blood pressure is the least of her concerns. Yep, sure is. Yeah, food is everything. Entertainment, emotional support, anger management, all of that. It ticks many, many boxes. Comfort. She also doesn't eat mindfully. She just like tosses it in and that's it. Therefore, she never feels full. Hey, Ash. So, yeah, she has a lot of work to do, but she's not going to do any of it. And 6 months from now, guess what's going to be happening? Maybe sooner, because the cycles are getting closer together. Because they've broken up how many times since she's been back? 6 months from now or less, we'll be having this conversation again. She will have had a massive rage, said horrible things about him and his family, exposed more things, accused him of other things, won't have gotten any help, rinse, repeat. The only difference will be that her lease will be expiring. So that part will be interesting. Blow her nose on her new chiffon hijab. Yes, I did. And it was disrespectful. And she made a joke earlier when she got her groceries. And she said, oh, look, I got tissues, so I could blow my nose so that I'm not using my sock. And she kind of smiled, but she was like halfway off the camera, off the screen. And that was definitely for Salah because I think she was hoping that Salah was watching at that point. So instead of saying, so that I'm not using my hijab, oh, so that I'm not using my sock to blow her nose. Again, it's what we were talking about, whatever fills her immediate needs. Chat GPT doesn't care about the resource depletion because it fills a need for her to like put together correspondence or regret videos quickly. Hijab was laying right there, fills her need of blowing her nose right there and then. It's that immediate gratification across the board for everything. Yeah, that's what she said, sock. Yep. Sock. And that was for his sake too. The lie was for his sake purely. She doesn't want him to know what she did or what she's doing or, the true nature of things. Yep. But hey, she was happy tonight because I think she feels that I made the apology, so things are going to be on the mend and there's hope and things are looking bright. So she's feeling hopeful right now. We'll see what her mood is. Plus, probably she had the sugar high as well, which was like giving her a boost. But as far as self-improvements, nah. I don't think there'll be any. Nope. At all. Yeah, she said sock, but she used her hijab. Yep. Exactly what she said. Got a lot of tissues so she could blow her nose so that she doesn't use her sock. I do think she has used her sock before. And then she's told us that she only has 2 pairs of socks. So make of all of that what you will. 2 pairs of socks, and you use one sock to blow your nose on occasion. No, her lies never add up. She contradicts herself either overtly or like in these subtle ways that we piece together. No. No, I think there's very little that she respects. She prefers to be uncouth. But yet people are supposed to accept that, meaning his family and everybody else. I don't know. Nobody has to accept anything. But it's interesting to see just like the shift in her mood from when he came into the chat and dropped the message that we looked at before to how she ended her last stream on Kick and how jolly she was. Oh, yeah. Rule number 2 and rule number 1, hand in hand. Yep. I think rule number 2 might even be more so because I think sometimes she really doesn't realize that she's told on herself. Because sometimes it's just like these subtle things. And sometimes it's like with her overcompensating, like what we were talking about before, like her emphasizing how much of a tip she gave, right? That's kind of like a rule number 2 also. So I don't know. None of this is looking good. But what do you think the car rental that's coming up is about? Do you think it has to do with like weather, or do you think it has to do with her needing to drive somewhere to work on more sponsorship things for him? Like she probably can't scoot to any of those government offices if that's where she needs to go. Because I feel like if it's for the weather, why would she say it's like in a couple of days that she's getting the car? That sounds to me like somebody who might have an appointment for something. Right? You need the rental car for a specific day. You probably have an appointment. The CPAP marks on her face, they were very pronounced. I believe it was yesterday, if I'm not mistaken. What I noticed, though, is just like how red she is all of the time. Meeting up with a guy for substance runs, very possible. Beezing and pajama parties for a few days with Pete. She made a comment that Pete doesn't want to stay over for a few days. I think the most Pete is willing to do is 1 day, and she didn't understand why. And was saying something about like, oh yeah, he doesn't want to leave his home, and I guess like I wouldn't either, or something along those lines. Ooh, round 3 of the throat gono meds. Oh no. Oh no. She should spend more time with Pete. He's the only one I think who's like, he gives her everything that she wants, but at the same time, like he will sometimes like he won't necessarily agree to everything she says. Oh, forget about that couch. That couch now has hot sauce on it, soy sauce, probably spillage from all of those cans that we saw, probably grease from all of those greasy bags that we saw that were all over it. That couch is a mess. Yes. The Julia rescue. Oh, yeah, for sure. For sure. And that's, I think, one of the things that he put a stop to with his post. Because she was saying, oh no, going there, it's going to be thousands of dollars. Oh, let me look up how much the ticket Oh, $2,000. She was hoping that somebody would offer it up so she could go to Syria to stay in a hotel to get Julia. But he came in with that message and he's like, nope, I'm taking care of her. She's fine. She is happy. Yeah, didn't she leak on the outside couch and she said it was from the bidet and there was like a big spot there? Like, how did that happen so long after using the bathroom? Like, it was contained and then it came out when you sat down? The mechanics of it is what I'm wondering about. She's scared, not being able to breathe. Yeah. Is she, at the same time, she'll say that, like, she's not scared about things like that. Like, every time she's had the boils and stuff, like, no, things like that don't bother me. Or has she resigned to the fact that this is her existence? I don't know. I think there is, though, some level of awareness about her own situation, but she just wants to avoid confronting it as much as possible. And visiting any providers would mean having to confront it, or at least having to hear it, right? Because if they're talking at you about what you're doing to yourself or all of the things that you need to do in order to get better, you can't not hear that. Do we think that the Malaysia trip will be back on if her apology video works? Because remember, she said that like they were planning to do it May or June. Do we think it'll happen, or do you think he's gonna like keep stalling or backing off, or is she gonna convince him? And when she says he convinced me to go to Malaysia, no, that's her convincing him. Her reality is crashing through her delusions. Yeah. Oof. Oof, oof, oof. Yes, it has. There's definitely been shifts there. Only me, Kimberly, you say no to Malaysia, that it's not going to happen? Well, I don't know how she would be able to travel. She's always got like gastric issues, running to the bathroom, all of these things. That is a very long flight for her to take. But then on the other hand, I think to myself that she moves when she wants to. Like we saw when she went to Syria, like that was a journey. That was like an arduous trip. But she did that. We saw the way she moved, like in the airport in Turkey, getting herself to the hotel and all of that. And then smuggling herself. Like she moves when she wants to. So while on the one thing I think that trip would be a lot for her, especially in her current state, we have seen her like pull things off. The best scenario would be if Salah never returns now. Like, if this is it, if there's too much damage and he's not speaking to her anymore. Like, thanks for your apology, sweetie, but nah. I agree, broasted. That was the turning point because think about it. If that hadn't happened with little Bruce, they would still be in Kuwait. She would still have him isolated. And that would be that. It would just be like more of the same. That moment with Bruce changed everything, and it brought her to her current situation. But again, like, she just doesn't learn. You get thrown out of, like, you're chased out of Kuwait, chased out of Syria because of your anger and your explosiveness, and yet still 2 big incidents in 1 year. Less than a year, because she got chased out of Kuwait at the end of May. So in less than a year, you get chased out of 2 countries because of your own behaviors, and yet you still haven't done anything to make corrections, to change your behavior, to learn how to process things, to learn how to react to things in a better way. You still haven't done that. I mean, that's wild if you think about it. Like, you're chased out of 2 countries in the Middle East in less than a year. Yes, she has gained more weight, and I think that's what, when she's saying about her clothes in the message, she's like, oh my God, I need clothes. I think that's why. Could she still do visa run every 90 days in her condition? Probably. I think it's getting harder for her. You think it will happen? He needs to get to Canada? It's possible. It's like a 50-50, right? Or maybe he wants to, like, come to Canada, because he did tell her when she was reading those messages, he did tell her, like, oh yeah, when she was like, you're going to come back to Canada and stuff. He's like, oh yeah, to visit. Yeah. So maybe he wants to come and, like, scope it out, like, check it out. Like, is this for me? Should I, like, try to make this like a permanent thing? Let me just, like, check out the circumstances, let me see. So maybe he still wants to come to see if it's, like, his cup of tea. I keep saying, like, come to Canada as if I'm there. I'm not. The money. But yeah, it's just amazing how, like, that moment with Bruce just changed, like, her whole reality. Cuba 2.0 would be more entertaining. He doesn't want responsibility to take care of her. Yeah, but I think that's what he gets paid for. But he doesn't like it. Like, she said that when they were in Thailand, she even made him go out and get her weed. And he doesn't do weed. He's against weed. But, like, he didn't know what to pick up. So he was, like, video chatting her and showing her the options. Like, she even made him get the weed. She wouldn't even leave the hotel to get the substance, which is what she wants. That's wild. You think that if he's still trying, he's devoid of compassion in the sense to realize that she is in dire straits here, vile as she may be, but still. I don't know. I think he does want to see her do better. I think that's why he keeps asking her about her food. She keeps lying to him. It's a source of contention there, but it's kind of like hard. Just like she says that she can't control him and she can't, like, she wants to know everything he does every single minute of the day. Like, he can't do that to her to make sure that, like, she's eating the right things every meal of the day. So I think, like, although he, like, wants her to do better in that regard, like, it's hard for him to control. Like, he can't control her actions just as she can't control his. She isn't. Her temper's horrible. I keep going back to the 12-hour live stream she did back in April, where he was trying to get her to go out for a walk during a segment of it. She didn't want to. She blew up at him, and that's when she threatened to expose him. All it was a suggestion, him trying to get her to go for a walk, and she got nasty. No reason to get nasty. But yet here in the video, she's like, oh, I'm verbally abusive to him during arguments. There was no argument when he was suggesting to go for a walk, and you started to get verbally abusive. Walk to the movie theater and back. Yeah. Didn't she say something about, oh, can I take my scooter on the plane? Something like that. I thought she said something like, she definitely talked about taking the scooter on the bus. I'm not sure if she said it the plane. I know she can't walk to the kitchen or the bathroom. Well, she does, but like it takes a lot of effort. Like she gets winded. Hi, Nora. Yeah, she does. She does. Not every therapist is a good match for everyone. But I think for her, she thinks back to her group home days. And whatever that experience was, which was like, what, 30 years ago practically? Just about. She thinks that it's going to be like exactly the same, that no advances have been made. It's humid in Syria. It's even more humid in Malaysia, which is where like she wants to be headed. So we'll see. We'll see what mood she's in tomorrow. Will she be happy? Will she be a mess again because like he didn't accept her apology or something? Her moods are always contingent on like other people. I mean, I think it's safe to say that there's going to be no change in the next 6 months. A dozen therapists to find one that click. Yeah, for sure. You have to have like a good rapport with the therapist. And not every therapist can like work on every issue. Sometimes you need like a team to address the various issues. And she has multi-layered things going on. Yeah, supposedly Salah was denied from Canada 2 times. That's according to his friend, Allah. Unclear if that's really true, but that's what he said. I don't know about a blacklist. But then again, who knows? Foodie should be on a blacklist. Definitely a blacklist in the Middle East. Like, don't let her into the country. She causes chaos everywhere she goes. Yeah, she's always supposedly getting sick. But I think part of that Bella Italian is not true. I think to her, traveling is just sitting in the hotel room. Going out, exploring, interacting with local people. Like, I feel she considers that to be a chore, too much of a burden for her. She doesn't want to have anything to do with people. She's not so interested in sites or culture or language or anything like that. To me, going to a country to sit in a hotel room is not traveling. I mean, look at what we got for 3 years in Kuwait. She didn't really go out there and really interact and show us as much as she could have. She just showed us a lot of fast food. In Doha, we've seen nothing. Not according to Allah? In one of the streams? I don't know. Somebody who works in the embassy. Oh, yeah, I think that was mentioned. Yeah. I wonder. I wouldn't be surprised. Maybe he is, like, banned. I wonder if him being married to her changes anything in that regard. Like, oh, single guy coming in from Syria versus single guy married for 3 years to Foodie. I don't know. I don't know how it works. The Canadian system works as far as that's concerned. Yeah, she barely ever leaves the hotel rooms at all. That's not traveling. No. Oh, is that where it was? Hmm. Yeah, she never went out anywhere. Nope. That second trip to Thailand, she had to be forced. And what did she end up doing? She ended up going to the mall. She went to Bath and Body Works in Thailand that second time when she went by herself. They told her not to film there. She got all huffy, said a bunch of stuff, and said she would take her money elsewhere. Well, there's the issue of was there a true marriage, and then there's the issue of what documents did she sign? Because she has no idea at the end what documents were signed. She thinks that Noor is the one who put them together as far as like the divorce papers, but were they divorce papers? What was she agreeing to? She didn't bother to translate anything. Maybe it was like her signing a document that said, I promise never to step foot in this house ever again. She doesn't know. I promise never to step foot in the country again. She has no idea what she signed. All she's doing is putting blame on Noor for creating the documents and the other cousin, the 17-year-old, for being one of the witnesses. But in reality, we don't know what that piece of paper said. I would think she would want to know, like, why? I don't know. I could see her that day being angry. She got presented with the papers. She got angry. She told us she had a rage. Probably just signed to just sign and get whatever the whole situation was over with, and that was that. Oh, officially getting married. Oh, maybe. Maybe. Huh. Ah. Yes. So, yes, they were planning on doing directly from, yes, because that was part of the argument. You're going to come back to Canada with me from Malaysia. Seven days before. Really? Huh. Interesting. Yeah, it could have something to do with that for sure. For sure. Get married in Malaysia, come back as the husband. Who knows? She likes her loopholes, so I'm sure she's found some. Yep, it could definitely be that. Like maybe it gives it more legitimacy or something. Who knows? Yes, exactly. Exactly. And that's probably why she was also talking about, oh, maybe we'll have a wedding someday. Oh, and you will all be invited. Maybe, because it's on the mind, right? We know how she acts when she has certain things on the mind. Yeah, he's playing hard to get. Hi, Rice Pudding. That could very well be it, and why she's been talking about weddings. Yep. And why she's upset. And the fact that he didn't answer her in the affirmative that, yes, baby, we'll come back to Canada. She didn't like that. Yep, so her plan is thwarted. Ah. Yes, they do take time. Yep. So a month would give them enough time to do all of that. Yeah, she lives in the fantasy of those after school specials. Right. Yep. Even though she swears by it, but she swears by a whole bunch of things. She also, here's another thing, she also told us multiple times how Salah has never been in a relationship before. Only for her to just tell us the other day that Salah used his ring from his first engagement? What? I need to go back and re-listen to that because I didn't catch the whole thing. But like, oh yeah, he used his ring from like his other engagement. But you said he's never been in a relationship before. Who is this person? When was he engaged? And what happened? She won't let go until they can finally go to Malaysia later this year to make her dream come true. I wonder if it'll happen towards the, like you said, later this year, because that would be closer to the 1 year mark of her being in Canada. Yep, bring him back from. So maybe that's what it is. Like the fact that she even has the idea to bring him back directly. I don't know. Maybe they were cooking up something, wedding paperwork, something in Malaysia. At least for a visit. Right, exactly. Depending on what's going on there. Yeah, if it wasn't for the conflict situation, I think she would have forced her hand and they would have gone. Like at the very least, he's getting a trip out of the whole situation, you know? I've left her on the screen all this time. Ugh. I could see him like doing the trip. I could see two things. Doing the Malaysia thing and then going back to Syria because, hey, he gets the trip out of the whole deal. Doing the trip, coming to Canada for a brief time, and then going back to Syria, and that's that. You didn't think he could come in without a visa? He'd still need a tourist visa. Yeah. It's a lengthy process, and she knows. She made a comment about that the other day. Oh, it's not that easy. It takes time. It could take years. I don't know. I can't speak for how it works in Canada at all. Like what the stipulations are and all of that. But yeah, and I want to know more about his like previous engagement. That's what I want to know about. And what happened to that. Unless she's making the whole thing up. which is also possible. Yeah, he does. Why did he never show up in Thailand the second time? There have been a couple of rumors or theories. One of them was that he was working on some kind of a visa, is what I heard, a family visa or something, and that took time. The other thing is that maybe like he never intended to go at all. Maybe he just strung her along. Maybe he was lying to her about whatever it is that he was doing and just didn't want to be bothered. He had the experience the first time. Does he really want to repeat that? Does he want to have that experience again? Does he want to be like stuck in a hotel room with her? Or her yelling at him? Like she was away for a whole month. That was like a vacation for him. He didn't have phones thrown at him, bottles thrown at him for a whole month. She was waiting outside Kuwait to see if her application of staying in a different status, not visitors approved. She got denied. I believe it. I believe it. Ball and chain on his ankle. She isn't a vacation. No. No. I don't know, because on the one hand, I do think like it is a new place. Like he did the Thailand thing with her, but then Malaysia's like different. I do think that like he's the one who called it off because the trip was I think put off. It was around the same time as world events were happening, but I think like between the two of them, he called it off because she did not make the progress that she was supposed to. He doesn't want to go to Malaysia and be locked up in a room. He wanted her to get a little bit more active, a little bit more mobile, a little bit better at being able to just withstand, doing some activities. And she didn't do that. So I think he said, forget it at some point. But then world events happened like at the same time. So it really like forced the decision. The no-show scenario, like her going and him not, and she's there by herself. Ooh, the rages. The rages. Mm-mm. But all in all, it's been a very busy week in the world of Foodie Beauty. Between Salah, Tracy, all of the other weirdness, like she's had a week. So we will see what tomorrow brings. He was aiming for really unrealistic goals Chantal can never achieve without. Yeah, yeah, exactly. The world is against Foodie. Right, that's how she views it. Everybody's against her. He's lying to her again, you think? Well, the fact that he's avoiding answering certain questions. Oh, his new wife? Ugh, the new wife. Yeah. The truth always comes out, and we're able to put the pieces together, I think, because of her habits. Will it be 100%? Maybe not, but I think, we're pretty good at like getting close. Because she always ultimately tells the truth, like it comes out, like she blurts it out herself, either knowingly or not. I know being near her enrages would be horrible. Ugh. But yeah, I mean, very unrealistic goals on his end. Also, he didn't know the many different issues that she had. And it was at some point late in the Syria game where she was telling him about like one of her issues, one of her diagnoses. I don't know if it was anxiety, something like that. And it was like he was hearing about it for the first time. Like, what? Why? Like 3 years later, you're finding out all this stuff. 3 years later, she's telling you this. Like, what is going on here? So that would also explain like why he's, trying to do like why his goals are unrealistic. I think because he also doesn't know the extent of certain things. Definitely not like as far as her mental health is concerned. So, yeah. Thank you all for being here this evening and watching Foodie's apology video and going through that. Thank you for stopping by. We'll try to do another one of these like in the middle of the week, maybe Wednesday, especially, yeah, since I'm sure a lot more things are going to happen. But Wednesday might be the next one. No 100% promises, but maybe. Yeah, time will definitely tell. So we shall see. But thank you all so much. I think we're going to end here because I have to get up in 3 hours. So, yeah, of course. No, thank you for being here. Oh, I appreciate that there. Thank you. I know I'm not the most proficient with like the screens and stuff. I'm still learning. I think this is only the fourth stream that's been done. So hopefully with time I'll get better and I'll learn how to make things a lot more smooth. Thank you. Yeah, she's an interesting one to analyze because like she's so multi-layered. Good to see everyone. Have a good night or a good day, depending on where you are and what time it is. Thank you, and I hope you are having a good start to your week wherever you are. And we will talk soon. Thank you. Oh, I'm so glad. I'm so glad. Thank you. Good night, everyone. Thank you.